I'm talking about the sentiments which a lot of legal counsels and also legal luminaries have spoken to, saying that emotions cannot influence the judgments that will be given by the courts. But still, some people are still holding on to the fact that whatever it's written in the Constitution as regards Section 299 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, talking about the FCT and the status, saying that it enjoys special status, despite the fact that a lot of people have tried to explain this, even the Supreme Court putting paid to this. Some are still holding on to this fact that the FCT, the 25% FCT, is still very, very important. What's your reaction to this?
I believe those who are promoting that jaundiced view are quite not doing justice to the interests of Nigerians. And it doesn't accord to sanity to say that 25% in Abuja is a prerequisite before a person could be declared winner of a presidential election. Let me put this question across to them. Assuming I won the election in the 36 states of the Federation, but I now lose the election in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, by not securing 25% votes cast in Abuja, does it mean that I cannot be declared winner? Does it mean that anybody who fails to secure 25% of the votes in Abuja would not be declared winner of such an election? Would it not be tantamount to saying that Abuja enjoys a status higher and above the status of other states of the Federation? And those are actually the federating units. This will not accord with reasoning if we are to subject it to critical appreciation of what the framers of the Constitution actually intended by putting that provision there. In the past, when Lagos was the Federal Capital Territory, did it enjoy such status in any election? Had we not conducted elections in Nigeria before Abuja became the Federal Capital Territory in about 1991? What exactly are the promoters of this jaundiced position are trying to promote? Abuja is just like a state of the Federation by the provision of the Constitution. It cannot enjoy a superior and better status than any other federating unit. Where somebody has secured the requirements of the Constitution in at least 24 states of the Federation, and he has met the requirement of having the majority of the polls cast, that person must be declared winner of the election. By the time we now promote Abuja above other states of the Federation, then what are we trying to achieve? That is the point that we try to make them to realize during the conduct of the trials at the Election Petition Tribunal, because I was involved on the side of the council, the legal team representing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and All Progressives Congress. We made this fact clear to them. There have been authorities earlier that have interpreted to Abuja not to be superior to a state of the Federation. Yet, the promoters of this position of Abuja enjoying a better status still kept on promoting it, still kept on, uttering this, incomprehensible position. And despite the fact that the Court of Appeal made a very thorough analysis of what actually is the position of Abuja within the conglomeration of states and the Federal Capital Territory forming Nigeria, still they went ahead. For instance, when you look at Abuja and maybe, let us say the smallest state, which is Bayelsa, you see that Abuja doesn't enjoy maybe a bigger territory or maybe a bigger representation at the National Assembly than a state like Bayelsa or any other state of the Federation. So in what way are we now going? It's only during elections for the purpose of now computing who actually won election that we are now going to make Abuja to be superior to all the states of the Federation. Come on, this doesn't accord with sense.
That's right.
So as dealt with by the Supreme Court.
Sorry to jump in. For this reason, do you now think it's very expedient that this particular section of the Constitution be rewritten for clarity, so that those who want to, hold strongly or firmly to it will have it understood? Or do you feel there is need for it to be rewritten, or just to be left that way, and it's maybe because it's clear enough or not?
It is clear enough. It has been interpreted by the Court of Appeal as a presidential election petition tribunal. It has been interpreted by the Supreme Court. The final interpretation has been given by the highest court of the land. There is no need for it will amount to indolence and lack of sense of purpose on the part of the National Assembly to now say, oh, because some people agitated, because some people said this provision should be interpreted contrary to the position of the court, then they will go and amend it. No matter how much effort they make to make it clearer, it cannot supersede what the Supreme Court had interpreted. The purpose of the judiciary is to interpret the law. Having interpreted that particular provision of the Constitution, then it is now clear beyond any disputation. Where anybody comes back to or goes to any court to interpret that provision contrary to the position already stated by the Supreme Court, that person is calling for award of very heavy costs against himself, because it ought to be punishable. Where a party is agitating an issue that has been determined and still urging the court to interpret it otherwise, will the High Court, Federal High Court or State High Court, now interpret that provision contrary to what the Supreme Court has stated? Can any Court of Appeal, any division of the Court of Appeal in Nigeria today interpret that provision contrary to what the Supreme Court has stated? Now, that provision has been critically examined by their lordships of the Supreme Court, and they have given their interpretation to it. That is the final. It will be absurd, even for the legislature, to now say for you to be clearer. No matter how much language they use, it is still subject to interpretation by the court. And the implication is that whatever language, no matter how much they even try to make it clearer, or whatever effort they want to put in to make it more lucid according to their own wisdom, it cannot supersede the supreme wisdom of the court. And that is why I would say that the National Assembly should not waste our precious financial allocations given to them, should not waste the precious time, legislative time, to be considering such an issue. For those who don't want to take it, that is the correct interpretation of the law, there is nothing anybody can do to help them. They are entitled to their opinion, but their opinion doesn't count when it comes to the interpretation of the Constitution, no matter the status of such a person. Let him even be a superior, most supreme senior advocate in Nigeria. It cannot substitute or supersede the decision already given by the Supreme Court on this issue.